Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm Lucas and welcome back to yet another PSGL F1 video here on F1 2021 for the penultimate round of the season actually, here at China. And yeah, let's, I guess, jump straight into it. But yeah, as I just mentioned, it is the penultimate race of the season before the F1 esports season gets kicking up in October. So yeah, the next race after this will be Portimao, which will be the sort of the season finale. But anyway, that's for next week. Here we are then in China, just with a bit of, drifting. Nearly crashing into Yoni Tomola actually, on the exit because I decided to be a bit of a bandit. But anyway, my inner drift king aside, we will move on to the final run of Q1. Now, the first run wasn't that good at all. Well, it was really slow, so it was quite important for us to improve here, because if we didn't, we would probably be quite a lot of trouble. But anyway, exit of turn 2, quite a lot of oversteer heading round this little kink here. Now heavy onto the brakes into the hairpin at end of sector 1. Quite a slow sector 1 time, clipping the inside curb as well, because there's a really weird bump on the inside of that hairpin on this game for some reason. It makes no sense, but I mean one of many things that don't make many sense in some ways. But anyway, heading round the middle sector, 5th gear, dropping it down to 4th, trail braking our way in, nice and comfortable, a couple of hundreds up now. Not as much as we want to be though, but we are gaining time, sort of heading towards the sector 2 split. We are 700s up, locking up the front left on the way in though. Short shifting. Now I know I had a snap here on the lap before, so as you can now see the delta is starting to fly up a bit, which is really useful because we kind of need it to. But yeah, we are 0.16 up now as we hit the DRS activation point. Heading down to the braking point, very easy to throw the lap away in the final 2 corners, so heavy on the brakes, 2nd gear, locking up, missing the corner, literally doing what I didn't want to do, but thankfully we got a good exit, gaining the time as we head now to the final corner. Nice and cautious, making sure.
But it shall be enough.
As I say there, I don't know what am I doing, but
that self is so
yeah,
understood. Learning as I go, very nerve-wracking actually, but I mean,
yeah, but it
actually got through no matter what.
Yeah, but it was actually quite a good nerve-wracking experience, because I mean we kind of got a feel for it, so not too bad. Only a 10th away from the top time, with a few little mistakes here and there. So anyway, now as you can now see, we're on medium tyres for the final run. Well, actually, our only run of Q2. I didn't actually do a lap, and I didn't do a single lap of medium practice before this. I haven't driven them yet. So this was me literally learning as I do the lap, which is, I think the word is called stupid, but we've got to send it, don't we? So yeah, now heading through very understeery in the low speed corners at certain stages, a little bit of oversteer on the exit, trying to keep the car under control, obviously with quite a bit less grip. But what should help with the mediums is the fact that we will not overheat as much as we head towards the end of the lap. So yeah, now winding our way around, 4th gear again, trail braking nicely, snap it, just very easy to lose the rear end of the car. You're always correcting it, always sort of fighting it. You've got to be really smooth at China, but this car was really all over the place, running quite wide there. I was worried I was going to get dragged out, because that curb on the exit of the long right hander, not this one but the one before, would have been very easy to drag us away. But yeah, at this point I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into Q3 because I didn't know what the medium situation 100% was, but we're just going to send it to the end of the lap. Nicely made it to the apex, little bit of traction loss in the exit, but that's alright, we've got the power down. Oh, a bit of the inside curb, a little bit shaky at the last corner, but that's enough for P6, I believe? No, P7. So yeah, not way too far off in the mediums, considering we've never done a lap before that, so I mean, I'll take it, because it could have went a lot worse. But anyway, final run of Q3. Now, to give context, we did one run before this, and it was a disaster, 30.4. So this is a very important lap for our race. It was we were quite limited with certain things in qualifying. There was no in short, there was no way we were going to get pole position. But I was more than confident within myself that I could pull out a good lap. Trying 4th gear into that right-hander, which I probably didn't need to do. I mean, it didn't lose me much, it didn't gain me much, so it was just a selection, I guess, of gear. Heading now down, quite aggressively down the gears for this section, now actually heading to third gear, because we're really pushing the car quite a lot, but so far, the lap is actually materialising very, very nicely. We have maximised quite well through that high speed section, heading round here, very smooth, very nice, controlled, transferring the weight of the car smoothly. On the direction change, very easy to slip the car, but getting the power down really nicely, and we are nearly 4/10 up, heading now down to the final 2 corners of this track. DRS Open, very, very easy to muck it up, and I mean, we're P10 now, so I mean, if we don't get this right, we're in, I think the words is massive trouble. The words are massive trouble. Breaking into the hairpin, we don't make the apex, so not a very good hairpin. Snapping on exit, I should say, sorry. Losing a bit of time there, getting into the final corner, making sure we get the apex, though, getting a nice release at least. And that is enough for P4.
P4. Meh. Hairpin was poor, but the car was not there anyway, so we were never going to get pole. No chance. But
so there's your qualifying order for Q3. Nicholas Longy on pole position, Jan Otmere P2, Sebastian Job in P3, and ourselves in P4. All in all, very happy with qualifying considering all things. So yeah, now on to the race. Waiting for the lights to come onto our screen now. Jarno Otmere notably on the soft tyres, so this is going to play a factor in this race. So anyway, without further ado, 5 red lights appearing on your screen now as we wait to release the clutch. Lights are out. Short shifting away as always, getting a nice release though, getting a Jarno Otmere off into the lead on those soft tyres straight away, which you could somewhat expect as well with the grip advantage, which is a very short and sweet grip advantage on the soft tyres around this track. Going side by side with Sebastian Job, trying to hang it around the outside, but we do not have enough tyre temp on the right hand side of tyres, so not going to happen. We play it safe, we just try and make sure we slot into P4, don't want to gain or lose any positions if it means, you know, getting damage or anything at this early stage of this race. Michael Romanidis in P5 heading it right round the outside into the start of Sector 2, which was a little bit hairy for a moment, but anyway, settling nicely into this race now. Just trying to get a feel for the balance of the car, understand sort of, are we quick, are we slow, a bit of understeer there as we head into, with a big snap of oversteer heading towards the end of Sector 2 now, a bit of ERS deployed, Michael Romanidis right behind us, Sebastian Job up the road. So yeah, it is Jarno Otmere who leads the way as we head around now, onto the back straight for the first time of this Chinese Grand Prix here in PSGL F1. And yeah, so Jarno's completely gone actually, now that I see it. I mean, soft tyre advantage at the start of the race is very strong, so yeah, very interesting to see just how quickly he pulled away even. But anyway, Nicholas Longy, Sebastian Job, myself, and all the runners behind are on mediums, so it's sort of 2 separate strategies playing out here, albeit with just one strategy with quite a lot more cars on it. Big snap of oversteer with the ERS deployed as we finish around lap 1. Now, cutting on to lap 6 because, well, to be completely honest, nothing happened. So, heading now down into the hairpin. Sebastian Job going up the inside of Nicholas Longy at the end of the straight with DRS into the hairpin. Nicholas Longy going for the switchback. Now, this is an opportunity for us because now these 2 cars ahead of us are very, very close. So what I decide to do is pin it out the last corner, deploy the ERS and force Nicholas Longy to overtake Sebastian Job so that we could get a run on him up the inside into turn 1, getting ahead, but it's not done yet because Sebastian Job can hang it around the outside. We are boxed in by Nicholas Longy because we can't go up the inside, can't go anywhere. So Sebastian Job hanging it around the outside. We now go around the outside, a little bit of contact, but it's all rubbing, it's all good. Now going around the outside, trying to get the traction down because it's really difficult. A little bit of a squeeze in the exit, but it's really good racing so far. Deploying the ERS into the I can't speak, the hairpin. Understeering a little bit into Sebastian, leaving just enough room, and that is us up into P3. Really close racing, really like argy-bargy, but not in a, I wouldn't say in a bad way either. That was really, really close, really, really hard fought. Skipping on now later into lap 7, the same lap that we overtook Sebastian. And Nicholas Longy taking a really weird line on the exit of this long right-hander, which I didn't really understand, but okay. But yeah, now we are deploying we've got our DRS open, but then we have to start deploying the ERS a little bit because Nicholas wasn't exactly giving up the position as much as I thought he would. Probably because he knew, now as you can see, Jarno Opmeer faded away on those soft tyres, is now within DRS range, so maybe Nico was trying to hold on with the DRS now that he could get it off Jarno, but we get in the lead, back into the lead of the medium runners at the perfect time for us, because now we are the lead car on our strategy and we have Jarno Opmeer on fading soft tyres to negotiate ahead of us. So rounding the first corner, which never ends, on the start of lap 8, transitioning into corner 2, sorry, Jarno Opmeer really struggling now on those soft tyres. It's quite, I mean, to do 8 laps on them in the first place is quite a lot, so Jarno will be definitely struggling for grip at this stage. So we're just being patient. We need to sort of time the overtake as best as we can, skipping on towards the end of lap 8 now, and as you can see we're really close to the back of Jarno, practically touching him, pushing him round this long right hand. A snap of oversteer because our mediums are, you know, still getting on a bit, but not anywhere nearly as bad as Jarno, so deploying quite a lot of ERS now just to make sure we solidify the move. I think Jarno giving up partway down the straight, and that is up. That's me waving the ERS just to say thank you for not making our lives miserable. He could have easily defended and made it a lot trickier for us, but sort of not wasting any of our time trying to think of our own races, so again, intelligent driving from Jarno. And yeah, now we're in the lead of the race. This is important as we have a 7/10 buffer as Jarno Opmeer pitted, I should add, on lap, I believe, 9. 9 or 10. But here we are pitting on lap 12 with the gap back to Nicholas Longren. We go really wide into that into that pit entry, which was not intentional. It was not really knowing where to brake there, but
I don't know the strategy.
with the grip.
Like, I don't
yeah.
know if medium soft is better or if I've just thrown the race away.
Well, that's also true because at this point, another very realistic proposition was that I could have thrown the race away by going on hard tyres. I wanted the hards because they would be a really reliable tyre, and thermally with the temperatures they would be the least difficult. So yeah, it's now heading on to, well, now with Jarno Opmeer now ahead of us on the ahead of us on the road, but not as far ahead as I thought he was going to be because he's on the medium tyres and he's pushing because he wants to get away with us. Well, he has a grip advantage on those medium tyres versus our hard compound. So yeah, it's we're now pushing to stay within an 8 and a really like 1/10 and we're gone. So we really need to perfect this section here to make sure we stay in DRS, because this will massively help our race and really help us a lot to pull away from the
DRS services to me.
as you can hear me asking politely for Jarno to give me the DRS, but just this would really help us if we can go with Jarno on the mediums. Well, his pace is quite fast, to pull away on those who are still out on the old set of mediums while we run hards. So yeah, a bit of a gamble on the strategy. I didn't do any form of strategy prep for this 50% race, but I was also reading the chat to see that Jarno was on a one stop, which kind of makes sense because the mediums can go quite a long way, but not something I immediately thought of. But it would also mean that we are going to have a severe grip advantage towards the end of the race, so things are looking not too bad at the moment, albeit most of the grid has not pitted yet. But anyway, Jarno Opmeer setting the fastest lap, and we have gone with him, and Michael Romanidis and Timon Shooter in the pits as well. And we are miles ahead, and they were like in the train behind us. So as you can see, Michael Romanidis 3 seconds behind after just a few laps, which is really important for our race. Now, looking on the minimap now, we have, I believe, as you can see, Nicholas Longy boxing from the mediums on lap 14, but more importantly going up the inside of Jarno Opmeer, trying to, you know, leave it quite late so that there wasn't really much of a defence, or maybe not even so it was expected as much, but making the move now for the lead. And yeah, we're quite safe onto the start straight. So that is us now theoretically in the lead of this Chinese Grand Prix, with Jarno Opmeer in tow. And I sort of knew that for as long as I manage my ERS and don't do anything really unintelligent, that, well, as you can see, we're in the lead of the race, and Nicholas Longy 4 seconds back, and Jarno Opmeer on mediums, his tyres are only getting worse. So dare I say it, we are in the best position to win this race. So as we hit head towards the final corner, a safety car is deployed. Now, at the time it was deployed, I was completely unaware that it was a safety car, because when I looked at the last corner, well, I had very little time to react anyway, because there was no way I would have been able to make an informed decision. But it popped up that I was obviously exceeding my delta, so I never knew what it was, but it wouldn't have made a difference. I had so little time to make a decision, and realistically, no chance. So we are on hards, and everyone behind, including Jarno Opmeer, boxed for softs or mediums or has much better tyres than me. So we are on hards with a few laps remaining in this race to defend our lives away to try and win this race against the odds, because we are really not in favour at the moment with these hard tyres. But the one thing that I know in the back of our mind is if I can hold on at this very early stage of this safety car restart against these soft runners, their tyres will fall apart very, very quickly. Their grip advantage per lap decreases very significantly. And some of these guys have been on it for quite a few laps. It's Sebastian Job going up, trying to have a look up the inside into the hairpin on this 24th lap of the race. Deployed a bit of ERS, obviously had the maximum battery after the safety car restart, so that was, Sebastian Job getting a massive snap on the inside curb of the long left-hander. Quite an easy thing to do. So at this point, I was like, right, head down, try and maximise the gap. Every single corner count in this early phase of the race, because their grip will be very strong at this point, but it won't last. A bit of snap of oversteer, because, I mean, our grip isn't sensational at this point. I mean, we've been on these hards for, I believe, 12 laps, and albeit they're very consistent and robust, they're still hard tyres, so it's quite tricky to combat against the softs. Trying not to completely drain our ERS, but we have to do something, because Sebastian Job on those soft tyres is having a look at us, going into the hairpin, goes to the dummy, braking late as we can, covering the inside on the brakes, making the apex somehow, trying to get an exit, getting the curb on the exit, bouncing us up, losing traction. Sebastian Job within 2/10 of us on the exit. Round the last corner, really squirreling all over the place, but deploying the ERS, and we've just got the gap to Sebastian behind, having to defend like for our life on these hard tyres. But as we approach the penultimate lap of this race, Sebastian Job, I mean, he's still there, but we've got 2 laps left, and their grip will be fading. We don't have millions of ERS, but Sebastian Job approaching us now, just having to cover the line. He has a little sniff at the outside, but Jarno Opmeer, who I can confirm had the freshest softs on the entire grid. His were brand new for this restart, so the only problem for me at this point was Sebastian's tyres were going off a little bit more, but Jarno had still very fresh softs, and they weren't dropping away enough for me, so at this point, this race is far from over. We're still leading the race with 2 laps to go. Sebastian Job in P2, but his tyres are starting to drop off now. We are very strong in the middle sector, because the softs thermally were starting to destroy themselves on the other runners. But unfortunately for me, Jarno had the freshest softs. So it's very, very tricky to see how this would have panned out at this stage in the race. I really thought I had an opportunity to win it starting the penultimate lap, but things can change so quickly. Sebastian Job nearly 9/10 back now. At this point it's looking not too bad, but I know for a fact, I mean, well, look how close Jarno Opmeer is to Sebastian Job on the Delta. He will be blasting his ERS right now to get ahead. They are so far behind, but as you can now see, they are Sebastian Job going defensive, Jarno Opmeer going round the outside up into P2, so that is him now next in line to try and attack me. We missed the apex a little bit of the hairpin, but I mean, we have not really much grip anyway, so I mean, what else am I meant to do? And Jarno Opmeer now 3/10 behind us with 1 lap to go on the freshest softs in the field. I mean, at this point in the race I was like, because I knew the odds were now stacked against me after defending the entire safety car restart against the soft runners. Jarno now on those fresh softs right up behind us, and I mean, we need perfection to try and win this race, and a bit of luck, because it's not looking good for us. Jarno Opmeer sitting right behind us, 2/10 away. I mean, we need more than 2/10, so heading now into this hairpin, the stupid little bump as well, but I mean, it never really cost us, you know, the end of the world there. But yeah, 2.5 he's just on our rear end. We cannot separate ourselves from Jarno, trying our really hardest through this middle sector. I was giving it everything on these hard tyres to try and break away, because I knew I needed a bigger gap. It's now 4/10, but on the traction on the exit, Jarno closes it, trying to squirrel away to the inside just to give him a tiny bit less dirty air. Heading into this final section now, a few corners remaining of this Chinese Grand Prix in PSGL, and we are pinning it. We are absolutely absolutely pinning it, I can tell you. It doesn't look that dramatic, but I was on the limit of these hard tyres through that corner. But we only have 3.5 tenths to Jarno Opmeer behind. I am emptying the battery, but Jarno Opmeer with DRS and deploying the battery is just too fast on the straight. Soft tyres into the braking zone. I can have a little sniff up the inside, but Jarno just has too much grip. If I wanted to go up the inside, we were going to absolutely crash, so I could not make that risk. Jarno Opmeer now out of DRS. Nicholas Longy right behind us as well, but as we come into the last corner, oversteering is all too much. We bring home P2, but man, it was all so close. We nearly done it. But Jarno Opmeer is your winner of this Grand Prix. GG to him. He done everything he needed to do, played the strategy well by doing the opposite to me at this safety car. But well, being able to react also helping, but at the end of the day, you've got to make the overtakes count. So fair play to Jarno and all the others. But as you can see now, I'm just giggling, I'm smiling, because we had the race in the bag until the safety car. The race was ours for the winning, and it still went away from us. And even at that, with only 2 corners remaining. But this is a second place that we can definitely be proud of. We gave it absolute hell in this race. It was a really strong drive, so I'm really happy with it. So here's your finishing order: Jarno Opmeer, myself, Nicholas, Danny Moreno, Sebastian, Wilson, John, all the way down as you can see. But anyway,
somewhere really doesn't want me to win.
So yeah, that's it then. But thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this race, because it was certainly a lot of fun to drive. I hope to see you next week for PSGL Portimao, the season finale, and I really hope to see you there. So thank you very much, take care, have a great rest of your day, and see you next time. Ciao.